$1.3 million in revenue on Etsy does not come without a lot of lessons learned. In today's video, I'm going to give you the top 5 failures that I have had with my Etsy shop in the last 7 years. Make sure you listen all the way through the video because these are 5 mistakes you do not want to be making in your shop. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan Jaris, and I am a wife, a mom of 2 boys, and an Etsy shop owner of almost 7 years now. I've made over $1.35 million on the platform. That's over $1 million in profit. And I have a strong background in e-commerce. I used to work for Zappos, owned by Amazon, and Zulily, the flash sales site. So I bring to you my corporate e-commerce background experience combined with my great Etsy success and a lot of lessons learned. I still have my shop where I do $30,000 to $40,000 a month, but now I also teach students just like you how to grow their own multi-6-figure Etsy shops. I don't like fluff, so let's jump into it. The first failure or mistake that I've made with my Etsy shop is not testing a product when I first had the idea. So about 15 months ago, I saw a new product emerging with some really early adopter influencers. Make sure you're keeping an eye on those early adopter influencers. So I saw this product emerging and I thought, wow, this could be something that would do well on Etsy. But I was pregnant and I was about 8 weeks out from having a baby. And I hadn't quite figured out the how behind this idea, so I put it on the back burner. 7 months after having my son, I came back to this idea, and by only 9 months into testing this product, I had made $145,000 in revenue, and it was at a 75% margin. So yes, I became the market leader quickly, but in the back of my mind, I always wonder how much money did I leave on the table by sitting on this idea for an extra 9 months before I actually executed it. And I really believe that if I had only pushed myself 100% when I first had the idea, I probably could have made double what I've already made with just the single product. So with this lesson, I'm really reminded that you rarely regret the things you try. And the regrets oftentimes come from the things that we don't try. It's that what if, right? That what if that haunts you. The second failure is having items purchased or maybe materials around me that are not made into listings yet. So to be honest, I still struggle with this. When I'm working with my vendors on production, I am, so fired up. I'm oftentimes impatient. I feel rushed. I'm ready to get this, idea to the market. But for some reason, once I get the item in hand, suddenly I feel a little bit paralyzed, right? It sometimes takes me days, to get the photos done and the listing edited and everything up and published. So it's like I'm waiting for the perfect lighting to take the photos, or I'm waiting until I have a clear mind and a quiet house to make that listing. So like I said, this is something I still struggle with. So I'm going to give you my solution here. What I do is I take anything that I'm going to be turning into a listing, I put it in a place that's going to annoy me. So this means, yes, I put it in the center of the kitchen island. I put it on my bathroom counter, or I'll put it right on top of the washing machine. These are places that it cannot sit without being a headache to me on a daily basis. Whatever I do not put it in a box. I do not put it in a bag. I do not put it in a closet. So from this failure, I've really reminded myself of that mentality that you have to have when you're growing a multi-6-figure business. And it's that idea of really putting the food in the oven before the oven is preheated. I have a whole video about that. And it's really about putting out your product before you feel like it's perfect and ready. The third failure that I've had in my $1 million Etsy shop is trying to beat my competitor's price. When I first started on Etsy, when I noticed my competition starting to copy me, it would really bother me and it really got under my skin. And the way that I got back at them in my mind was that I would undercut them with my price. I actually thought that this would prevent me from losing market share. Now, the thing was, I was already the market leader. I had traction. I owned that, product on the Etsy marketplace. And I was way beyond the sprinting phase and into what I call the marathon phase of my business. My shop was known for this item, but my competitor was not. And the customers that I have chosen are, high dollar, high value, premium customers who do not make their purchasing decisions based on price. In fact, the factors in their purchasing decision is everything but price. And undercutting my competition with my pricing, it was only going to hurt me. All that would do was lower my revenue and lower my margin. So I was really competing in an area that did not matter to my customer. It was really a waste of time and effort and headspace. Instead, I really could have spent that time better aligning with my customer and expanding my product mix with new items that would serve them even more. All of those things would have been really increasing the lifetime value of that customer versus wasting my time competing with a factor that I really didn't even need to compete with. Okay, the fourth mistake or the fourth failure that I've had with my Etsy shop has been not hiring soon enough. You guys, I am really, really good at delayed gratification and being uncomfortable for what I perceive as, a long-term reward for that. And I'm also very resourceful and practical and scrappy. So when it comes to building a business, I'm all about being a MacGyver, doing more with less. So I didn't hire help until I was doing about $300,000 a year in a rolling 12-month period in my business. So my profit margin at the time that I hired someone was at about 65%. Why did I wait to hire? Well, I gave myself 3 excuses. So the first one was that finding someone was going to be, really hard and really time-consuming to find someone who was good. The second thing was that, it would take me more time to train them and I could just do it faster myself. And then the third thing was that what if my business slowed down and, I didn't have enough work to employ them? I didn't want to put all the work into hiring someone just to have to let them go. And it felt like it was a lot of pressure on me to keep my sales really high to be able to afford to keep them. So this was a very short-sighted way of thinking. And what it did was it made me, learn to work faster and more efficiently. I got myself into a place where I was taking on more and more and more volume until I literally did not have a minute to spare. And I had backed myself into a corner where, I didn't even have a minute to look for someone, to put out an ad, to hire someone. There wasn't a minute to spare to train someone. The key learning here was to hire someone well before you needed to hire someone. Don't wait until you need them to look for them. So growing a multi-six-figure business is all about pulling levers to drive profitability and to scale. And labor is an interesting lever to pull. You need to start pulling that lever before you feel like you're ready in order to have more seamless and steady growth. So hiring someone feels like a risk, but we can really make it a calculated risk and a low risk by hiring the employment structure in a certain way. So if you need help with this, if you're like, I know I need to hire someone, but I'm scared, I don't even know where to begin, I might as well just stick with it and do it myself. Don't do that. Reach out to me. I have a really, really great process to outsourcing. I show you what to outsource first, where to find people, how to vet them, how to interview them, how to set things up so that it's not stressful. And my fifth failure in growing my Etsy shop to this level was not getting that Rollo label printer sooner. I don't know why I shipped out over 17,000 items without having a Rollo label printer. I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I can probably tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking that we just spent like $150 on this HP printer so that we could print our labels and tape them on. Why would we need to buy this special, $300 thermal printer when we just bought a normal printer so that we could do what we needed to do? I told you I was really good at delayed gratification. So this was about investing in something that would give me a more efficient, straight, direct path forward. But instead, I would rather metaphorically hit my head against a wall and use our clumsy tape gun to tape on all these labels individually. I thought this Rollo printer was, a frivolous expense, not a necessary expense. So yes, we had done over $1 million in revenue on Etsy before we ever bought a thermal printer. And what this Rollo printer lesson symbolizes to me in this business is something that saves you time, saves you headaches, or really raises your earning potential. And this really was a baby step. So after the Rollo printer, we made other investments that really catapulted us forward. And that ranged from, other purchases that were $300 to $500 purchases of equipment, all the way up to business coaches, that were $6,000, but that really helped us level up our earning potential. And in the future, I'm already looking ahead to what my next investment will be to save me time and help me make more money in my business, in all of my businesses actually. So I hope you've learned from my top 5 Etsy failures. Maybe you found something that applies to you in the stage of business that you're in. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel. It encourages me to make more videos. Feel free to connect with me over on Instagram at Dylan Jarris or email me team@dylanjarris.com. I'm also still taking a few more students for my course, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy Blueprint. So if you have been interested in getting guidance from me in your business, your life, your financial future, definitely reach out and mention that because we are taking on a few more students right now. Again, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.